Gurun
Hare Krishna. My name is Tika, and I'm very happy to be here with you so that we can read and discuss Bhagavad-gita together. Of course, I will do most of the talking. Yes. In this world, I'm continuing with the introduction because the introduction sets us up nicely to enter the Bhagavad-gita as smoothly as possible so we can land running. Here we are in the introduction, and I will continue reading. In this world, men are not meant for quarreling like cats and dogs. Men must be intelligent to realize the importance of human life and refuse to act like ordinary animals. A human being should realize the aim of his life, and this direction is given in all Vedic literatures, and the essence is given in Bhagavad-gita. Vedic literature is meant for human beings, not for animals. Animals can kill other living animals, and there is no question of sin on their part. But if a man kills an animal for the satisfaction of his uncontrolled taste, he must be responsible for breaking the laws of nature. In the Bhagavad-gita, it is clearly explained that there are three kinds of activities according to the different modes of nature: the activities of goodness, of passion, and of ignorance. Similarly, there are three kinds of eatables also: eatables in goodness, passion, and ignorance. All of this is clearly described, and if we properly utilize the instructions of Bhagavad-gita, then our whole life will be purified, and ultimately we will be able to reach the destination which is beyond this material sky. Yadgatvana nivartante tadhama paramang mama. Yes, so the three modes of material nature are discussed in a rather biggish portion of Bhagavad-gita, and I recall vividly sitting in lectures where the speaker focused a lot of time and energy in describing the three modes of nature, and I was bored out of my head. I shouldn't say that, but I felt that why all of these modes of nature? Let's hear something about Krishna. So Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's very attractive, and we like to hear about him as much as possible. But living in this world and striving to develop our spiritual life, our Krishna consciousness, it is very good to understand how this world functions. It's good to get the instruction, it's good to get the knowledge, it's good to get the process for developing spiritual realization, but we need to understand how this world functions so that we have a platform to stand on while we are performing our spiritual life. The three modes of nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, we can divide everything in these qualities, and we can use our intelligence to discriminate how we live our lives based on that understanding. Mode of goodness is a peaceful platform that is the best ground for our spiritual life. It is peaceful, we have knowledge, we have understanding, we act in duty, and we feel calm and satisfied, and we don't create disturbance and harm for anybody. Mode of passion is the platform of the human civilization. It is a sense of striving, of desire, of hankering, pressure, stress, frustration, and it's quite common that human endeavors are based on this level, and we see those modern diseases that are based on stress coming out of this. It is not ideal, but you get things done. Mode of ignorance is different. It is the mode of darkness. There is laziness, there is destruction, there is fear, there is violence, diseases, and it's quite common to think, oh, this whole material existence with all the musts and demands and a strong sense of a push to live up to being better than others. We want to step out of that, and that is a sensible instinct. The problem is when we don't know, stepping out into the mode of goodness lands us in a position where we can grow our spiritual life. Stepping out in the mode of ignorance will create distractions and will not yield any good results. But if we don't know this, it's an easy mistake to make, actually. Yes, I will continue. Speaking of the spiritual sky, that destination is called the Sanatan sky, eternal spiritual sky. In this material world, we find that everything is temporary. It comes into being, stays for some time, produces byproducts, dwindles and then vanishes. That is the law of the material world. Whether we use as an example this body, a piece of fruit, or anything. Yes, I just like to go back to this a little bit, because this is actually the definition. Here it is given as an example of the material world. This is also the definition of life in this material world. Because things don't come into being producing byproducts, remain for a while, then dwindle and die. They are created and eventually they are destroyed also. But living beings, we are born in a certain body that grows. We are able to have offspring. We will have children, trees will have fruit, so on. And then we live for some time, and then we dwindle, and then we die. So that is a symptom of life, and this is valid for human beings, it's valid for animals, it's valid for trees also. Some philosophers claim that only human beings have soul, but soul is the individual living being, and the symptoms of the presence of the soul are these symptoms of life. So we see that the spirit soul is present in all the living entities in this world. I just wanted to mention that since I had the opportunity. Yes, I will go back. Beyond this temporary world, there is another world of which we have information. That world consists of another nature, which is Sanatana, eternal. Jiva is also described as Sanatan, eternal. Jiva, that's us, the living entities. And the Lord is also described as Sanatan. In the 11th chapter, we have an intimate relationship with the Lord, and because we are all qualitatively one, the Sanatan Dhamma or sky, the Sanatan Supreme Personality, and the Sanatan living entities, the whole purpose of Bhagavad-gita is to revive our Sanatan occupation, or Sanatan Dharma, which is the eternal occupation of the living entities. We are temporarily engaged in different activities, but all of these activities can be purified when we give up all these temporary activities and take up the activities which are prescribed by the Supreme. Take up the activities which are prescribed by the Supreme Lord. That is called our pure life. The Supreme Lord and His transcendental abode are both Sanatana, as are the living entities, and the combined association of the Supreme Lord and the living entity in the Sanatana abode is the perfection of the human life. Yes. So this principle, Sanatan principle of eternality, this is our nature as living entities. It is not natural for us to die. The soul never dies. We speak about reincarnation. This means that the living entity, us, we are a person, we are alive. Right now we are placed in a material body, but we wear that body out. It will not last forever. It will get old and deceased and die. Then we continue to the next place. But dying does not feel natural to us. Being eternal, we have the right to live, to have relationships, to have an existence, but there is a place for that. The spiritual world is there for us, where we can actually stay eternal. We don't have to die. We can develop our, I mean, it's not how to say, it's not eternal in the sense of a museum. It's not like a box where something is preserved and you can just look at it and that's it. No, it's a dynamic place, it's a living place. We have eternal relationships with Krishna, and we have different activities, different emotions, different relationships, all going on. But they are not limited by the nature of this world, where everything is destroyed gradually. The Lord is very kind to the living entities because they are his sons. Lord Krishna declares in Bhagavad-gita, Sarva yonishu aham bidya pradapita, I am the father of all. Of course, there are all types of living entities according to their various karma, but here the Lord claims that he is the father of all of them. Therefore, the Lord descends to reclaim all of these fallen conditioned souls, to call them back to the Sanatan eternal sky, so that the Sanatan living entities may regain their eternal Sanatan position in different associations with the Lord. The Lord comes himself in different incarnations, or he sends his confidential servants as sons or associates or acharyas to reclaim the conditioned souls. Therefore, Sanatan Dharma does not refer to any sectarian process of religion. It is the eternal function of the eternal living entities in relationship with the eternal Supreme Lord. Sanatan Dharma refers, as stated previously, to the eternal occupation of the living entity. Shripad Ramanujacharya has explained the word Sanatan as that which has neither beginning nor end. So when we speak of Sanatan Dharma, we must take it for granted that it has neither beginning or end. Yes, that is interesting. We have religions, many different religions, and Prabhupada was very insistent that we respect them. We do not want to break any type of religious faith, because they are all based on the same principles of this. But the Sanatan Dharma is without the, how to say, cultural imprints or designations that means one religion is directed mostly to one particular culture or one particular type of person or one particular section in the road as we travel on our way back to God. So there's nothing wrong with that. But the eternal nature of the living entity, of course all the religions understand that we will eternally go back to God. But where do we come from? We are also eternal in that direction. There is no beginning and there is no end. Right now we are here, we are covered, we accept bodies that will die. We never die. The English word religion is a little different than Sanatan Dharma. Religion conveys the idea of faith, and faith may change. One may have faith in a particular process and he may change his faith and adopt another. But Sanatan Dharma refers to that activity which cannot be changed. For instance, liquidity cannot be taken from water, nor can heat be taken from fire. Similarly, the eternal function of the eternal living entities cannot be taken from the living entity. Sanatan Dharma is eternal. Sanatan Dharma is eternally integral with the living entity. When we speak of Sanatan Dharma, therefore, we must take it for granted that it has neither beginning nor end. That which has neither end or beginning must not be sectarian, for it cannot be limited by any boundaries. Those belonging to some sectarian faith will wrongly consider that Sanatan Dharma is also sectarian, but if we go deeply into the matter and consider it in the light of modern science, it is possible for us to see that Sanatan Dharma is the business of all people of the world, nay, of all living entities of the universe. Non-Sanatan religion may have non-Sanatan religious faith may have some beginning in the annals of human history, but there is no beginning to the history of Sanatan Dharma, because it remains eternally with the living entities. In so far as the living entities are concerned, the authoritative Shastras state that the living entity has neither birth nor death. In the Gita it is stated that the living entity as is never born and never dies. He is eternal and indestructible, and he continues to live after the destruction of his temporary material body. In reference to the conception of Sanatana Dharma, we must try to understand the concept of religion from the Sanskrit root meaning of the word. Dharma refers to that which is constantly existing with a particular object. We conclude that there is heat and light with fire, otherwise there is no meaning to the word fire. Similarly, we must discover that essential part of the living being, that part which is his constant companion. That constant companion is his eternal quality, and that eternal quality is his eternal religion. So Sanatana Dharma, it doesn't mean that we adopt a new thing, that we change, that we find something that we like and then we start to do it. No, it means that we remove everything that isn't really us. We remove everything that is part of the temporary identity, the body. Of course, we don't remove the body, it's not like that. But our identification, our activities, our goals, insofar as they are connected to who we really are, they are real, then they are us. And the rest is temporary and it will go with the body. When Sanatana Goswami asked Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu about the Svarupa of every living being, the Lord replied that the Svarupa, or constitutional position of the living being, is the rendering of service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If we analyze this statement, we can see that every living being is constantly engaged in rendering service to another living being. A living being serves other living beings in various capacities. By doing so, the living entity enjoys lives. The lower animals serve humans as servants serve their master. Under these circumstances, we can see that one friend serves another friend, the mother serves the son, the wife serves the husband serves the wife, and so on. If we go on searching in the spirit, it will be seen that there is no exception in the society of living beings to the activities of service. So that is our eternal nature. And we can look into it in different ways, and we will find that this is part of us. And therefore we need to find that place where it is safe to offer our service, where we will not be misused, where we will not be taken advantage of. We need to find that person who can hold us as the servant, and it will be a full and complete relationship, and that is Krishna. Sometimes when we try to render service and a person doesn't have the capacity to accept it, it creates some disturbance. They are not able to take the service, or they are not the right person to accept the service. Krishna is always the right person. And this is not just something we learn and study. This is something we can realize deeply within our hearts. But in order to go there, of course, Bhagavad-gita gives us the knowledge, it gives us the direction, it gives us the process, it gives us a good structure, a good understanding of how this world functions, so that we are able to stay in this function. And it gives us the opportunity to find out, to grow into the person we really truly are in that relationship to Krishna, God. Hare Krishna, thank you very much.
Thank you for watching. We aim for updates every Tuesday and Friday. Please come back. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down there. We also have some links and information for you. And there is, of course, the subscribe button. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
I'm a Hare Krishna, and I approve this message. Subscribe. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta
Padakamalang